Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another edition of 8 Minutes with Aaron. I am, of course, your host, Aaron, and today we're going to have a little chit-chat back and forth. Well, it's going to be me talking because you can't actually be heard, but I'll pretend I am listening. So let's get rolling with a fresh edition of this guy right here, Aaron. So today was my day off, and I did a lot. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, you're just lying, Aaron. You just want to tell everyone that you did something on your day off so you didn't look like a bum. And I would tell you, normally on, a day I'm off, I just go to the gym, go get a gyro, a chicken over rice, come back, eat a bunch, see if there's any work that I can complete real quick from my other job, and then I would make my way onto my computer and play a bunch of League of Legends or EverQuest 2. But today was different because when I woke up, it was a little bit later than I wanted to get up. I got up around 9:30 and they had a Funko Shop ECC drop or whatever. I forgot to see somewhere along the line. And I didn't do it. I didn't care. Didn't care about it at all, folks. I checked my email to see if I got any of the limited edition spots. I didn't get any of those. I went online, saw Frankie was available. I was like, I don't know if I want to get Frankie right now. Maybe he'll drop in price on the Funko Pop. There's no guarantee whether or not I'm going to get the Emerald City Comic Con sticker or the shared sticker. So I said, fuck that. I can wait. Shrug hand, meh. Anyway, so I got up and I looked around and I said, you know what? Let's clean up a little bit. Now, at first, I started cleaning where I had my air fryer because for some reason, when I put on my air fryer, it's probably because it's too close to the wall. It leaves like a yellow residue. So I bought some shit off Amazon, which Amazon's still sending me things. So, okay, Amazon. Sprayed some shit on the back wall, got it all off, and I just start cleaning shit down. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Why I'm at it, let's just keep going. So then I wiped down the cabinets, and then I wiped down the microwave, I wiped down underneath it, and then I looked at the oven, I'm like, when's the last time I fucking pulled this sumbitch out? Because there's like a crevices spot between like my counter where the oven is, because it's in between two things, and it's probably disgusting. So I pulled it out like midway, like a midway pull. And there was a bunch of yellow shit on the back. I was like, oh my god, I gotta clean this shit up. You know what? I'm actually gonna go back a little bit because what made me start doing the oven is there's like a tiny gap in the oven and I saw like black gunk. So I got a knife and I was like shh, and I was pulling shit out of it. I'm like, oh, this is gross. And it was shh, and the tip of the knife that I had broke, and I think it was like an acrylic knife or some shit like that. So that sucks. And that's what made me want to pull out the oven and do all this other shit. So I finally pulled out the oven. And I'm going to tell you, folks, I don't think I've ever pulled out the oven in the years that I've been here. I don't think even when I was here with my partner that he ever did that. Him clean, that's a funny one. Him clean, that's a great one. And yeah, I pulled it out. It was disgusting. There was a bunch of hair and block and this. So I swept it. I sprayed everything down on both sides. I cleaned the walls. I cleaned everything. And I was really happy with myself. Now, it took me about like 35 minutes. Went through like 4 or 5 dish rags or towels, whatever you want to call them. And I'm probably going to have to throw them out and get new ones, which is perfectly fine. And it looked really nice, except I didn't do the top part yet, and I got lazy. So I said, screw it, I'm going to sit down, play a little video game. So that's what I did. Played some League of Legends, did some EverQuest 2 shit. And then, like, I got up, and I said, this was probably like 2 or 3 hours later, I said, you know what? I don't know where a mouse pad is because I don't use a mouse pad. I just put my mouse on the table and there's like. But when I was playing League of Legends, I was getting some friction, or I felt like something was going on where I wasn't able to target the player in the game to attack, and I was noticing how it was making such a difference when I was like focusing and like kind of like pressing down on it. So I looked at the table. The table looked like shit. I wiped the table down, little scrub, scrub, scrub. And I still noticed that the mouse was doing, the bogus shit. Now, I don't have to do this in EverQuest 2 because it's basically I can tab target or do shit like that. But in, League of Legends, you got to be accurate. The mouse movement, the views, you got to look at the mini-map. There's so much moving parts and pieces. And I'm not that great at it, so when I figure there's something I can improve, I have to give myself a round of applause and a pat on the back that I'm actually trying to make an effort. So, got up, started looking around for a mouse pad, could not find it anywhere. I went in my bedroom, I pulled out shit out of the closet, I went to my other thing where my Pokemon cards are. Maybe there was like a mouse pad underneath that I saw. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I know I have one somewhere, but I just can't put my fingers on it. And then I realized something else. My partner who used to be here, he used to do a lot of Twitch stuff. Well, actually, that's all he did was Twitch and stuff like that. He really didn't have a job at the time. And he probably took them. He probably took them all when I was at work, like he did with everything else. So that kind of sucked ass. And I said, fuck this. I don't know where one is. So I went into the front of, my house, and I'm moving shit around. And guess what I found? Now, I don't know if you can recall this, but I was talking about how I couldn't find my Brita filters. I found my Brita filters, baby. So I got my Brita filter. I took out my water jug container that hasn't been used in a minute because I didn't have one. And I just cleaned it. I just scrubbed it in soap, water. Oh, it looks so nice, so great. But I couldn't find the little flippy top. But I'm not going to go crazy because I couldn't find a flippy top. Maybe I'll just have to buy a new Brita filter. I'm sure they're not filter, but a Brita machine. I'm sure it's not that expensive. But if I do get one, maybe I'll just put it over the tap itself. Like the one you just attach. That would be cool. I don't know if that's more expensive than just buying the filter. But I have like 8 filters now. Now, let me continue on. So once I clean this son of a bitch out, right? I fill it up with water, of course. What do you want me to do? Of course you got to fill it up with water. So it's filling up with water, and now I have a steel sink. So the bottom is kind of dark. And I'm just looking. And I'm looking. And I have, I should be wearing glasses. And I'm like, wait a second. That does not look like a good looking water. It looks black. It really did. It didn't look like dark black, but you can definitely see a tinge of black. And I was like, okay, well maybe it's just a reflection of the steel. I lift it up. It ain't the steel. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So of course I'm emptying it out, refilling it, emptying it out, refilling it, emptying it out. And then I said, fuck this. I'm just gonna look online and look this shit up. Because at a certain point, I poured it in a glass. I'm like, is this black? Is it black? I was gonna call my dad. I was gonna text my buddy Mike, because that's who I go to for all my household shit that doesn't go right. I'll just call Mike, and hopefully he'll have an answer. Which he probably wouldn't. I should probably just ask Samet. And yeah, after I dumped it out like 4 or 5 times, it looked a lot clearer. I looked it up online, and Reddit basically told me it's fine. It's just some kind of residue or some shit. It's not going to hurt you. It actually could be more beneficial for you. But I wasn't going to take any risks, folks. I wasn't fucking around. I poured that shit out until it looked clear. And now it looks beautiful. I filled it up nice. I gotta, I guess, put some in some water bottles so I have refreshing backup waters when I go to the gym. So in conclusion for this episode of 8 Minutes with Aaron, it was a very productive day in the life of Aaron. Now, I am going to make dinner now, and I decided to make chicken Caesar wraps. Now, I don't have the romaine lettuce and shit. I've been fucking up lately, but I am adding bacon to it today. You know why? Because I want to add bacon to it. Also, I do remember that I told you there has to be a Girl Scout Cookie Redemption episode I'm going to do. That will be coming up, but not today. My name is Aaron. Thank you for joining me at 8 Minutes with Aaron. I will see you all next time. We'll do more stuff, more things, and of course, more of me. See you later. Bye-bye.